And then if you just want to talk about, I don't know, whatever.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. We in the building. What are you gonna do?
That's pretty good.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. We in the building. What are you gonna do?
My dad used to sing me the same thing. Welcome back, everyone. And if you're new here, I'm really glad you've joined us. This is that little corner of the week where we get to breathe, reset, and remind ourselves that progress is possible, even on the days when we don't feel particularly put together. Because the truth is, growth doesn't always show up as bombastic fireworks. Sometimes it's softer, choosing to be kinder to yourself, admitting you need a change, letting go of a hurt you've been carrying, or finally just asking for the help that you deserve. Those small shifts, they add up. And they're the quiet victories that move us forward. And wherever you find yourself today, in motion, in recovery, in rebuilding, you belong here. This space is about lifting each other up, finding hope in the cracks, and remembering that even the messiest chapters can turn into something meaningful. So take a deep breath, shake off whatever's been clinging to your shoulders, and let's step into something brighter together. This is Braving the Bright Side. Hey everyone, it's really good to be back with a full-fledged episode, and that I'm really excited for you to hear. But before we move forward with all that, I do want to take a moment to say thank you, sincerely. Last week came with some unexpected technical difficulties, and I appreciate everyone who showed patience, understanding, and even support while I scrambled to troubleshoot it all. Podcasting is a lot of fun, and it's quite beautiful when done right, but it's also occasionally humbling. Very humbling. And last week was definitely one of those humbling moments. I especially want to take the moment to thank Britain for their grace and compassion and patience through all of it as well. Their story is incredibly powerful, important, and deeply, deeply moving. And I'm not willing to let a technical hiccup be the thing that decides its fate. So, to everyone waiting for that conversation, it is still coming, I promise. We're going to do it right. We're planning to re-record, and trust me, when it arrives, it'll be worth the wait. Well, I hope everyone had a phenomenal week. As we're now just about a week out of the one holiday that it doesn't really get the respect it deserves. Now, I'm not a huge Thanksgiving fan. I do love the fact that it is essential that everyone just put themselves down with food. It is known that you hurt yourself with food and then you lay on your couch, or as I used to do as a kid, lay on the floor underneath the table. Once I was done, I was like, nope, I'm done. And I would just throw the napkin and I would just slip underneath the table and pass out for a couple hours. But it's essentially, it's a very, it can be stressful for those of you that are stressed out. If you're hosting it, if you're cooking it, or if you're driving to 6 different places, I get that. It's definitely, it can be super stressful, but it also is also looked at as one of the more lazy holidays. But it's also looked at as I don't want to say it's disrespected as a holiday, but for me personally, it's sandwiched in between two of my favorite holidays, Halloween and Christmas. Top tier holidays right there. So a lot of times I kind of look at Thanksgiving as like, it's a lazy holiday for me, for the most part. But I'm just kind of looking to get over with, because then boom, we can start with Christmas. And I'm a big Christmas fan. But Thanksgiving is warm, especially as the season starts getting a little bit colder. Love a good knit sweater. Love some warm cider, some sweet potato pie, all this kind of stuff. It is cozy. It is comfy. And that is what I really, really like about Thanksgiving. There are Thanksgiving traditions. Again, like me slipping under the table and falling asleep. As a kid, I was completely sober, and I would do that all the time. I would just hurt myself. destroy myself with food to the point where I couldn't see and then I'd pass out. I feel like I should bring that back. Now that I'm in my 40s, I think that could be a lot of fun. Speaking of traditions, one thing that always sticks out to me about Thanksgiving as well, which I think she made this only during Thanksgiving. I could be wrong. I have a ton of sisters out there that'll probably correct me if I'm wrong. But my mom used to make this casserole called WATERGATE salad. Now, I don't know if anybody out there has ever experienced WATERGATE salad, or if you've heard of WATERGATE salad. This I don't even know why salad's in the title. I'm going to be completely honest, because when I explain it to you, you're going to be like, what the it's wild. I mean, it sounds like you're eating the Great Depression, but for whatever reason, it was delicious. And it's my mom made it all the time, which makes sense. So if you never heard of it, it's pistachio pudding, marshmallows, canned fruit, and a hint of mint, all mixed into like one neon green bowl of just holiday madness. And I remember we'd have it all the time. I remember eating it at Thanksgiving all the time. I'm like, yep, okay, cool. Here comes the WATERGATE salad. Classic Jersey, really. And I just kind of thought it was a universal thing until as I got older and realized, I would go to friends' houses or, be invited to a girlfriend's Thanksgiving or whatever. I'm like, oh, I know WATERGATE salad. And people are kind of looking at me like, what did you just say? What is that? Is there like romaine in that? I'm like, oh, no, there's no lettuce at all. It's mint and marshmallow. And then they would usually just kick me out or stop talking to me. But that was a uniquely Bradley family creation right there, a little Kelly Bradley creation. WATERGATE salad. If you ever want to see pictures of it, look it up. You know what? Maybe I'll just put a recipe. I don't have my mom's recipe. Again, I have a ton of sisters out there that could probably help me out with that. But I will link a recipe to WATERGATE salad on the description of this episode. Because boy, howdy, if you want to really melt some faces and confuse a lot of people, show up to a party or any kind of holiday. And they're like, oh, great. What did you bring? Just be like, we brought WATERGATE salad. And immediately they're going to be confused, especially now. They're going to think the thing that Nixon got in trouble for, you made a salad out of that? Or like, what is that? And it's weird. It's sweet. It's just one of those memories that always makes me smile this time of the year for sure. So I will link that recipe into the description of this episode because it's a good time. It's a weird time. Don't get me wrong, but it's a good time as well. Well, since also Thanksgiving is so close, this is technically my last episode before Thanksgiving. The next episode will be dropping the day after Thanksgiving. I figured let's include some weird Thanksgiving facts real quick. I'm still going to do the feel good news story. I'm just going to list off like 9 random weird Thanksgiving facts that I found that I picked out that I thought were interesting, weird, or cool. All right. So here's the first one. Philadelphia is home to the oldest Thanksgiving parade. Did you know that? But you didn't. 1924 apparently is when the parade started in Philly. Fact number 2, Americans eat an estimated 50 million pumpkin pies on Thanksgiving. While apple pie remains the most popular pie in America, pumpkin pie is reigning champion on Thanksgiving. The very first Thanksgiving lasted 3 whole days. Boy, howdy, that's a lot of trips underneath the table to fall asleep to. In 1621, and Plymouth Governor William Bradford reportedly invited the colonist allies to enjoy the fruits of their labor. Members of the tribe showed up with plenty of their own goodies to share. It ended up being a 3-day party, essentially. Which sounds pretty awesome and exhausting. Sounds like a lot of people. Fun fact number 4, Thanksgiving did not become a national holiday until 1863. Although the first Thanksgiving was held in 1621. There are many reported occasions of celebrating the holiday after that date. It took over 200 years for the entire nation to get on board. It wasn't until 1863, at the height of the Civil War, when President Abraham Lincoln declared Thanksgiving as a national holiday. Look at that. Another reason to love Lincoln. Fun fact number 5, Americans consume approximately 46 million turkeys on Thanksgiving. 46 million. That's a fun fact, but it's also kind of, as an animal lover, it's kind of depressing also. But 46 million turkeys. Incredible and gross at the same time. Here's one that I didn't realize was a thing at all. Only male turkeys can actually gobble. So when you hear gobble, gobble, it's a male John. Fun fact number 7, Jingle Bells. This one's crazy. Jingle Bells was originally written as a Thanksgiving Day song. Just blew your mind, didn't I? When composer James Pierpont first wrote Jingle Bells in 1857, the song was titled One Horse Open Sleigh and was intended to be a song for Thanksgiving. However, the melody quickly became a Christmas hit, so 2 years later it was renamed Jingle Bells and has been a well-loved Christmas song ever since. Thanksgiving literally just cannot get any respect. Can't get anything good, can't get any respect. Even had a Thanksgiving song that was stolen from it. Fun fact number 8, a botched Thanksgiving order led to the invention of frozen TV tray dinners. In 1953, an employee at Swanson & Sons overestimated demand for Thanksgiving turkey and ordered too many, nearly 260 tons too many of the frozen birds. Quick-thinking Swanson salesman saved the day by ordering 5,000 aluminum trays and creating a turkey meal, recruiting an assembly line of workers to compile what would become the very first TV tray dinner. Creation was such a success that in 1954, the company would go on to sell 10 million turkey TV tray dinners. Boy, howdy. Fun fact number 9, the annual White House tradition of pardoning a turkey officially started with George H.W. Bush in 1989. So there you have it. Some totes and dorbs fun facts about Thanksgiving, the forgotten holiday. Which brings me to the Feel Good News segment. A segment dedicated to good happenings out there in the entire world, even when it feels like we're surrounded by the absolute opposite. I scour the internet and the Instagrams and the MySpaces to find some feel good news in this very heavy world. And this one is pretty cool, and I feel like it ties into Thanksgiving in a weird way. Not in a weird way, in a straightforward way. This week's story is pretty beautiful. It's a vibrant community fridge in New York City that's giving away free fresh fruit and vegetables to hundreds of people every single week. No judgment, no hoops, just neighbors making sure other neighbors have what they need. So let's get into it, shall we? This was found in here's the website, goodgoodgood.co. And here we go. An estimated 1.4 million New Yorkers are food insecure, according to the largest data from nonprofit City Harvest. And in East Harlem, which has a majority of Hispanic and Black population, an estimated 22.4% of residents face food insecurity. 22.4%. That's crazy. While large-scale efforts to confront gaps in access to healthy food persist throughout the city, including food bank operations and potentially city-subsidized grocery stores, mutual aid and community-led food distribution are vital to ensure everyone has enough to eat. It's something the 155th Street Fridge has been doing for nearly 6 years. Local Stephanie Tanier founded the project in 2020 and has since hosted weekly distributions every Saturday on 155th Street and 8th Avenue in Harlem. The fridge is located at the Boys and Girls Club and is run by volunteer neighbors and teens from the neighboring Polo Ground projects. One favorite volunteer is Juanita, a scrappy and joyful woman often seen wearing a pair of headphones over her beanie and directing traffic at the fridge. We do this each and every Saturday. I want you all to come out and enjoy, Juanita said in a TikTok this summer. We have plenty of food to give. We are all family out here. The fridge rescues fresh produce from local supermarkets, including organic items, and also partners with local businesses to stock fresh pressed juices and pre-portioned meals when possible. All of this was headed for the trash, not because it wasn't fresh, but because supermarkets overproduce, Juanita shared. Meanwhile, so many of our Harlem neighbors need healthy, affordable food. The Gap is why we started our community fridge 6 years ago, to rescue what's still good and share it with love. Every weekend, regular volunteers help distribute the food, while a line of New Yorkers forms promptly at 11 a.m. From there, it's an assembly line of helpers until the fridge is empty. What are we doing here? One young boy said in a TikTok posted by the group. Giving food to people that need it, he replied. Why? Said the other boy. His friend looked at him incredulously, because why not? As long as they have the inventory, every person in line gets an entire grocery bag or box filled to the brim with offerings. While the group does not post too many updates on its social media pages, it has become a reliable staple for the Harlem community. The 155th Street Fridge has grown to become one of the largest and most reliable food pantries in the area. The Instagram page NYC Locals shared. They have never unplugged the fridge since they started and remain committed to their mission. Those who want to support this mission of the community fridge can donate via Cash App or Venmo. We want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all the love and support the group shared in an Instagram post last year. We won't stop. Harlem is lit. I feel like there's probably a better way I could have said that at the end. Harlem is lit. It's just coming from me. It's not going to sound cool at all, but you get the idea. What an awesome. I mean, the fact that it's been going for 6 years too is incredible. So that is a beautiful, beautiful story and a beautiful movement by some beautiful human beings. I'll post whatever Instagram page I can find on them. I'll post the news article as well in the description of the episode so you can check it out. But that is your feel-good news story. And boy, howdy, that's a feel-good one. That one makes me feel great. Especially in these super trying times. So that's absolutely beautiful. Let's switch things up, shall we? Let's get ready to introduce our next guest. Before we jump into the actual conversation interview, I want to introduce someone whose presence is felt long before she speaks, long after her words settle. Syreeta Martin is a storyteller of the truest kind. Someone who doesn't just share narratives, but shapes space for healing, honesty, and growth. She's an award-winning journalist, a creator, a coach, and the visionary behind Sincerely Syreeta and Company, where empathy becomes strategy and personal evolution becomes a practice. Her work is rooted in courage, the courage to look inward, to rise again, and to help others find the strength to do the same. What I admire most is the way she carries both fire and gentleness at the same time, the way she turns her own lived experience into light for people around her. Today's conversation is one of those rare ones, grounded, honest, tender, and sharp in all the right places. It's about healing. It's about choosing growth even when it's wildly uncomfortable. And it's about remembering that our stories are powerful, not because they're perfect, but because they're true. So, without further ado, I have the tremendous honor of introducing you to the fiercely funny, brilliantly sharp, deeply focused, and endlessly inspiring Syreeta Martin. All right, with me I have founder, CEO, storyteller, community advocate, and transformation facilitator, Syreeta Martin. Syreeta, how are you?
Oh my gosh.
How was that?
Sounds so official.
I appreciate that since I botched the words at the end there.
I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. I think that sums it all up.
Love that. Sincerely
Syreeta.
Syreeta.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
That's the name of my company and the brand and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. How's your day going? How are things?
How's my day going? My day is flowing and I'm flowing with it. Good overall. Grateful.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I met the pets and like
Yeah. You met John Ralphio and Vigo.
John Raphael and Vigo.
Yeah, that was how glamorous it was to meet me right on the spot as my dog's peeing outside. Like, hey, you're at the right spot. This is
Yeah, who's this? Hey, what's going on?
Yeah. It's good stuff. That's a perfect introduction to my life right there, really.
I feel like that's a great way to meet someone.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I actually
level set.
Don't take my dog out for hours before I meet the podcast guests just so he can see. And that's the way I meet everybody.
See how they respond to it.
Yeah. If they get grossed out, I'm like, you know what? This isn't going to work out. Just get out of here.
Yeah.
What do you got going on? Anything big? Any big projects down the road or anything you got excited coming up?
Me.
Yeah. Yeah, not me.
No, me. That's the project.
Oh, that's the project.
That's it. I love it. That's it.
That's an amazing answer.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. You.
That's been it. I feel like it's not even I feel like, I know, at a far more deeper level and like, why not dive into the deep end at the start of this?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I feel like for the past 4 years or so, I have been my biggest project. And 2026, I don't see it being too much different.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I feel like I'm really just leaning into that.
Love that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about this project?
My favorite part about this project is like, oh, this is who you are. Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Like it's all the different times I get to meet myself again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, hey. Like
it's funny how that works, right?
It's so
sometimes
funny.
like, oh my God, I didn't realize I like that at all. Like
37. And I think the realization for me probably came, let's see, it's 25 now. So maybe this was 22, 23, 2022, 2023, where I was like, oh, I am like an introvert, actually. Like I'm not an extrovert. I'm not who I thought. I don't have this characteristic that I thought was a part of my identity. And by then I had built an entire brand and business and career off of being like a public personality, a media personality. And it was like, actually, babe, you actually are not like. And I feel like it was actually when I stopped drinking that I was like, oh, no, this isn't it.
It was the booze propping you up and putting you out there in a way, you know.
And I mean, that wasn't always the case. Like that wasn't always the source of it, but I think that for me was a big shift where I was like, oh,
that's a pretty massive shift too.
Yeah, that's
finding that out about yourself.
It's like, you know that emoji where it's the shaking head.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that was that moment for me. I was like, oh, people, this is a thing. I feel my energy. I feel the battery. Like
it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's a finite amount of energy for me that that's probably one of my favorite parts is learning how to manage that. Yeah
for sure. I mean, especially nowadays, being a public figure isn't just like going to and making speeches and showing up. It's now social media. So that is a whole different battery that you have to constantly run on too.
And I'm sitting with what you just shared, like a public figure. I'm sitting with that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that that's how I view myself at this point. But I know that to a degree, folks who have watched my journey, they can see that. They might identify me in that way in terms of being a media personality. You know, oh, I've seen her on news appearances, or I've seen her host events, or I've seen her, produce her own events. I've seen her produce and host her podcast, or, her live interview series. So like they've seen me in public settings.
Yeah.
So I get absolutely why that, I guess, label or title would be it.
I mean, that's we just met. And that's how how I view you. So.
Right. When you asked me earlier, like, how am I doing? I was like, I'm evolving.
Yeah.
Like all the things are evolving in real time. So I think even my view of myself and my understanding of myself.
Love that. I stopped asking you questions downstairs because I was like, all right, all your answers are phenomenal. We got to save this for the podcast.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
All right. We got phenomenal answers here.
Phenomenal. It's like one of my favorite words, by the way. You're going to hear that so much. You're like, all right, that lost its meaning a while ago.
I might carry it with me, so I'm here. I'm here for phenomenal shit.
Phenomenal shit.
We could use some of that. So,
God, yeah. We really could.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Talk it up.
Some phenomenal shit. So if you had to describe your life right now, which I feel like you kind of already answered, but I already asked everybody this. Describe your life in one word. What would it be?
Describe my life in one word. It's everything.
Mm.
Super basic, but no, it's everything. I've been hearing this a lot in everything all at once.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the statement, everything all at once. But I think just life in general, that's the best way that I would describe it. It's everything. It's the highs and the lows. It's the light and the dark. It's all of those things all at once.
Yeah.
And just like being where my feet are in it.
Yeah.
When we were talking downstairs earlier, just those random moments I have where I'm like, I am sober as shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm seeing in 4K. Yeah. I'm experiencing life in 4K. And my morning might have started off with like super heavy, like processing of life and like, oh shit, this is where we've gotten to and like what's happening. And then I like honor that and allow myself to feel the feel, but keeping my mind on like, all right, but we're going to higher ground. Like we are coming out on the other side of this. Right. And so then midday highs, it's great. We're, beautiful things happening, gratitude being practiced. And at the end of the night, I'm laying my ass down. It's time to go to bed. I'm tired. I'm over it. Yeah. Like, just getting to feel all of those things in the span of 24 hours. Everything.
Everything all at once.
And don't bring social media or the news into it.
Yeah.
Then you're definitely feeling everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're feeling extra at that point, too.
Oh, my gosh.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, also, what a privilege it is to feel everything. I mean, it really is. Yeah. It's a privilege.
Yeah. Yeah. That's perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Why do you say that?
Because, I mean, for the longest time, just speaking in terms of my own experience myself, is that there was a lot of things that I numbed myself to because I didn't want to deal with it or feel it. But also, there was such beautiful moments in life that I missed out on that were kind of casualties because I was self-medicating or dealing with other shit that I refused to feel. Yeah. So I missed out on so many other things that, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of it all, right? You have to deal with the shit. You're going to tumble downhill, but it's nice to get back up and then start clawing your way up again, because there is beauty everywhere you look. It's just, you have to feel everything. That's the cost.
That's it. That's
the shitty part.
The cost of admission.
Yeah. So when I say it's a privilege to feel everything, it's because, I mean, you're not going to miss anything, which is great, which also kind of hurts a lot of times too. Yeah. But it's also a beautiful thing too, you know?
It's something, can't remember which year it was. I try to set an intention. I don't try, I actually do. I set an intention each year, usually just like one word. And I think it was 24. It was courage. It was all about courage. And so, when you were just sharing that, it was like, it made me think of like, it's courageous to feel everything. Yeah. Like to be willing to feel it all. I do think that takes a lot of courage. It's hard being human. This some shit. This is a trip. This is a real trip. When Janae said that, Janae Aiko said, like, it's a real trip. She
nailed it.
She nailed it.
She nailed it. Yeah. Like you just said, sometimes you look around, you're like, oh my God, I'm sober as shit right now. Yeah,
it's happening.
There are times where like I'm at work or just like walking down the street or again, just reading something. And I'm like, God, how am I not drinking during this? Are you kidding me right now?
Wow. This rock is spinning. Man, we're really off.
Yeah. Life is lifing and I'm just hanging out with it, taking it all in,
It reminds me of that video on, like a viral video. I can't remember what it's from, but there's two guys. Okay, I'm a Black woman. There's two white guys. So that's how I've identified.
Thank you for clarifying for my audience that you're a Black woman. Yeah.
In case the voice didn't give it away or whatever. But they're like, hey, look at us. We're just chilling, and they're like opening a drink or something. It's they're actors, but I can't remember. Somebody knows exactly who I'm talking about.
Somebody out there knows
that clip.
Yeah.
Hey, look at us. We're just shooting this shit. It's just, that's how it feels. Yeah.
Is it Paul Rudd? Is it during the Hot Ones Wing Challenge? Look at us. Who would have thought? Not me. Yeah, not me. Not me. I say that all the time.
Not me. I said, yeah, especially not drinking. Who would have thought? Not look
me.
at us.
Yeah, look at us. Look at us.
Who would have thought?
Not me. Not me.
Not me.
I sometimes, so I guess this is going to be a little bit of a humble brag, if you will, but I just bench pressed 210 pounds, which I'm pretty excited about. But I literally sat there and then thought that to my head. I was like, who would have thought? Not me. Not me. You know, I didn't have anybody else to do that with, but in my head, I was like, Jesus Christ, like this is kind of crazy.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me doing this.
Yeah. And meanwhile, no one was looking at me, which I was completely fine with. But
I'm looking at me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the important part right there.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of this podcast. So I can just brag about that bench press. That's it.
Because
that's all right. Let's wrap it up.
You should. Yeah. All right. That was great.
All right, Syreeta. Sincerely, let's get into it, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
For listeners who may be meeting you for the first time, how do you describe the heart behind Sincerely Syreeta and Company, and what moved you to build it in the first place?
Built it. I said from jump, this is a living, breathing thing.
Mm-hmm.
I started with a blog, and sincerelyreeta.com. Don't go to it. It's not in existence anymore. But the blog was really born out of, I was a student at Temple University, non-traditional student, because I was a student parent, which means I was a student who had kids. And Temple offers, they did at that time, and the last time I checked, they still do, they offer family housing. And so I'd always had a dream to go to Temple. I got pregnant at 16. I had my daughter at 17. And college was still very much a goal of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up finding out through a great friend who was like a big sister to me, shout out to Jessica Stewart, that Temple offered family housing. And so I applied, I got in, and myself and my daughter.
You were living in Pittsburgh at the time, right?
No. I came from, I'm from Pittsburgh, but I moved to Delaware.
Right, okay.
In like the 7th grade. And so I graduated from Christiana High School in Delaware.
Okay.
Shout out to CHS, my folks. End up graduating high school a year early from there. And found out Temple offered family housing. And so my daughter and I moved on campus, and I majored in journalism, print magazine. And all we were hearing at that time was that print was dying.
Uh-huh.
And mind you, I'm 37 now. So I got to Temple in 2006. And that's all we were hearing.
Yeah.
The print is dying. And I'm like, oh, well, but you took that. You sure did take my tuition dollars, didn't you? Huh? That didn't stop that shit, right? So now what are we going to do? So they were really pushing for us to have a digital footprint. And that was a blog. That was what they were pushing. And shout out to one of my professors, George Miller, really dope guy. But I remember his class in particular, like that was one of our assignments was to create like a blog. And so I was like, all right, sincerelyreeta.com. That's going to be it. And I still to this day have not, because I've thought about it many times, like where did they come from? But my 3 E's, empathize, empower, and evolve. And that was those were the pillars for the blog, for what will become the brand, what will become the business. It was all about empathizing with the journeys of others in the hopes of empowering them to become their best selves so that they could evolve into the best versions of themselves. Yeah. So everything was just about empathize, empower, and evolve. And so I started the blog, and the blog for me was really a way of processing and coping. I'll say more so processing. The alcohol was coping, but processing my life as a student parent on Temple's campus, living in a city with, in Philly with no immediate family there. And just like getting it from the muscle, like figuring this thing out, going to school full time, working multiple part-time jobs, whether it was work study or kind of, just finding my own jobs. And then eventually what it would become is also starting, co-founding a student organization. And the blog just kind of was my way of sharing my journey in hopes that, as I put on the blog, in hopes that it would not only motivate others to empathize, empower, and evolve, but that it would bring a renewed sense of strength, direction, and purpose. That was like the intention that I set for it. And so the blog just kind of started evolving as I like would go out to events and start writing about it. And I love interviewing people. And so then I started interviewing people and sharing their stories on there. And it just kind of grew from there.
Yeah.
And led to a crowdfunding campaign, GoFundMe. I got to a point where I was like, all right, I think I could turn this, like, take this up another notch.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had like set this goal, like $1,200, I think. I just wanted to like get my LLC and, you know, do my website and get a logo design and, you know, get some marketing collateral. And so I was like, all right, $1,200.
Set up like a nice base for yourself.
Yeah, laid a foundation. And it was running for 3 months, and I had raised about like $546 or something like that. And it got down to the last 24 hours. And I was like, I'm not going out like this. Like, I'm not, when I set a goal, it's tunnel vision. Like I don't like not hitting my goal. And so I locked in. I'd like pulled out all my electronics. I'll never forget, I was sitting on the floor and like I got my laptop open. I got my iPad out, my phone out, and I'm just like posting on social about the campaign. And it got to a point where it was like I'm live posting as donations are coming in. And so I end up raising that money in 24 hours and exceeding the goal. And that set me up.
Yeah.
I had what I needed, got my LLC, got my website done, got my logo designed, and Sincerely Syreeta and Company was born.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how long has it been around now?
Since 2013.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
December 2013.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. I love that it was born out of your blog and just kind of talking your thoughts out and putting it out there and kind of, like you said, processing.
Yeah. I often tell folks, like, I went from blogging to branding to business.
Yeah.
It's like, that was how it evolved. And what it looked like from, you know, year to year or over time, it evolved. I'll say that.
As it should. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and as of now, it's looks like more like consulting, coaching.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I was, you know, putting on executive producing my events, and I was, you know, doing more facilitation and skills development, social emotional learning, all of that kind of stuff. Always on the side though, like freelancing, and I am a journalist.
Yeah,
so, you know, there was still very much that was happening. But, yeah.
Very cool. That's awesome. That's cool. So your work centers on resilience, truth, community healing. Where'd that spark come from in your own story? Was there like a moment where you realized this is the type of work that I'm going to do, or?
Life. Geez. Okay. You summed it up to resilience. You said truth. What was it? Resilience.
Yeah, I said, resilience, truth, and community healing.
Huh. I'm learning. Like, I'm getting perspective.
Yeah.
So
I mean, reading your stuff, it seems like, it's you don't hold back, which I appreciate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Where did that come from? I think the resilience aspect is that's just what I was born from. You know, when I think about my stock, my family stock, I come from good stock.
Good stock.
I feel like that's what they always say. You come from good stock. When I think about like the women in my family, when I think about the love that I've gotten to bear witness to first through my family, like it's absolutely been rooted in resilience. When I think about, like, we want to big picture it.
Yeah.
You know, when I think about cultural identity, like it's all resilience. Like that's just it. That's it. So that, I think, just I was who I was when I got here.
Yeah, you're steeped in resilience. Yeah.
Yeah. in terms of truth, I think that's choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's about like, that's a choice of how I want to show up in the world and how I want to feel when I look in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I have I call them mirror moments, and I've had some really distinct ones over the years. But for example, a mirror moment was, I'll never forget this time. I was in college. Shit was real. It was dark. It was tough. It was definitely a resilience building season. Just as a single mom, as someone, pursuing a degree, as a super senior. Was I a senior yet? I'm not going to even date it, because at this point, the entire college experience just was a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very much overwhelmed, and going through a lot. And so I remember I had been drinking, and I ended up in the bathroom. I had been crying, and I just had this almost like I want to say like a moment of clarity, but I remember just looking in the mirror and like bloodshot eyes. And I was just like talking to the future version of myself and just telling her, like, you better not forget me. Like, when you get to wherever you're going, when you make it, when you succeed, like, don't forget me. Don't forget.
Remember this.
Don't forget this part.
Yeah.
Don't forget what I sacrificed. Like, don't forget this version of what it took to be you. Like, don't ever get so successful, so like polished or whatever, that you forget the trenches version of me. Like, don't forget me. That mirror moment is seared in my mind.
Wow.
And so I think truth for me is the truth to self first is so important, because I can't forget her.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
So that's a very big part of like why I have the conversations that I do the way that I do with the people that I interview, or with folks that I may be coaching, or with young people that I'm, supporting in their skills development or the social emotional learning, like, because I'm thinking about my own truth. And that's the choice that comes with that. So I think that plays a big part too. And like, and even how I show up as a writer, how I've evolved as a writer. And then as far as there I don't know what it's like to not be in community, and to some degree. Like, there have been times where I've experienced isolation in life, feeling isolated. And sometimes that's needed. Like, I feel like God does his best work sometimes in the dark, when you down, or, the seed planted in the ground, it gets real. But there's never a time where I feel like I was not in community and covered in some way, shape, or form. And so I think I very much am someone that values and prioritizes a village mindset, even with like raising my daughters. It's a village mindset. It's not just me. It's not just me doing that. There's this concept of Ubuntu. I am because we are. And so it's all about community. It's all about like, whatever I am, however great or not I become, it's because of the community. It's connected to the community that I'm a part of. So yeah, community is very important.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, I can tell in your writing that it's a massive part.
Yeah, because for me is we. It's a we thing, and like I start with I in terms of sharing my story, but the processing of it is we are. Like, we our. Like, no, we in this together.
Yeah.
If you here, it's because we here. Like, we're processing this shit together. So yeah. I don't know if that answers you.
That does. That was a great answer. I also love that you say, like, remember this moment, this face, this person that was like in the shit
Yeah.
And don't forget it, because it is important. It's, obviously there's sayings like don't focus on the past, don't look back behind you too often, but it's important that you always remember those moments that
Yeah.
help craft you into the person you are.
Like every version of yourself carried the baton,
Yeah. Right.
and you may not, like, looking back, you might be like, damn, you ain't have to carry it like that.
Right.
But they did, right? Yeah. And either way, you got here.
Exactly.
So yeah, go on and pass a flower off to them, give them the flowers, and let it just be one of many in the bouquet of your life, ooh.
That was good. Did
Damn.
you just come up with that right now?
Yeah, damn. No, where that
Write that shit down.
I prayed and said, God, use me before I walked in here. But dang, you doing your big one, ain't you?
That was great.
No, but seriously, I think very often about the versions of ourselves, past, present, and future.
Mm-hmm.
When I think about my life, I see those versions standing side by side.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and depending on what situation I might be facing in this present version of myself, I'm looking down the line and say, who's stepping out right now? Like, who's being called forward, or who's feeling like they got to step forward? Like, who fall back in line? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're not swinging bows today, babe. It's not your. This one's not for you. Okay, step back in line. Yeah. But it's like, who do I want to call forward? And I almost view it as an army of self. It's like, who's in a line? Who's stepping forward for this moment? And I think at this point in my life, what they say is in me, it's not on me, it's me.
Yeah, it's you.
Like, I'm the one stepping forward.
Yeah.
Now. So, yeah.
You've talked openly about, your transformation. I mean, even just now you were talking about transformation, personal, professional, and even emotional. Looking back, what part of your journey required the most bravery, do you think?
Which one? Oh, shit. Which one required the most bravery?
Yeah, like, was there ever a harder moment than others? I mean, I know it's kind of like an open question in terms of like how you narrow that down, but was there ever a moment you're like, shit? For me personally, I know I have moments where I thought like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get through this. This was the one that might break me, and I pushed through.
I feel like my Goliath was my relationship with alcohol. That was a big one for me. Yeah. And not just because it was mine, it was because it's generational. Like the assignment of redefining that relationship was a generational one. That started before me. Yeah. And so to be where I'm at now, alcohol free, like coming up on 4 years, is like, that's a testament, I think, first and foremost to God, but also to my courage, to my choice. And I'll never forget making that choice that I want to heal more than I want to cope. Yeah. Like, and I started to, as I went down that journey, I started to realize, like, oh, okay, God, I see how you'll put me in a corner, because if it's this or that, like, I'm going to choose. I'm gonna make a choice.
You're gonna have to make a choice.
Yeah. And it's not only just that, but I can more clearly identify what I want more. Whereas prior to that moment, I have enough space and freedom to be like,
Yeah.
And then I seesaw stop. No, motherfucker. Yeah. It's time.
It's this or nothing.
It's this or that. And so I think, like, that moment for me was a big one.
What was the moment that you decided, oh shit, all right, I gotta quit drinking?
It was so partially decided for me, right? Like, I got into, and this was not alcohol related, I got into an accident. Someone hit me head on. They were trying to beat a light. It was actually a teenage driver. She was in a car with her mom, and she lights are green and whatever. She went to try to beat the light and end up hitting me head on. And that resulted in me being hospitalized for some days, blood on the brain, severe concussion, banged up quite a bit. And of course, once I'm discharged and I'm starting a recovery process, and I call that my accident with purpose. Once I'm starting a recovery process, it's I'm going through the motions. Like it really required me to live my life differently. And I think I know in the first few months, especially, I was sensitive to light. I spent a lot of time in a room by myself under the covers.
Oh, wow.
Just because the headaches were crazy and my eyes I could not take light, sunlight, any of it. Just, it was too much. It was literally painful. So there was a lot of time spent in that cocoon.
Yeah.
And for those who were engaged with me on social media during that time, you likely saw a lot of how I characterize that as the metamorphosis, like going from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And that shaped a lot of my writing and reflection on that moment. And so I spent a lot of time in that cocoon. And there came a point where, as I was starting to regain, some of my strength, because I really couldn't take care of myself like I was used to. I couldn't take care of my kids like I couldn't drive. That was the first time I really had to depend on community to hold things down. Like, I was out of commission. God sat me down. And so there was this moment as I was starting to, get a little stronger. One night I was on the couch. I was just up and I wanted to drink. Like, I had the taste for it.
Yeah.
And mind you, I am dealing. It had to be I want to say maybe 11 something at night. TV's on, lights are off. I'm in the living room, and I'm like, I can just get a drink. And I just was like, bitch, are you crazy? What are you, as I have this headache, what are you doing?
Yeah.
No, you can't. I'm like, we'll be all right. And I open the bottle and I'm smelling it, because I'm literally going through.
This is the first drink that you've had since everything, right?
But I haven't taken it yet. I'm just holding the bottle and smelling it, right? And having this internal warrant. I mean, literally, how when you think of the angel and the devil on your shoulders, this is that moment. Yeah. And they are going back and forth. It's not, come on, we good. And I'm like, bitch, no, what? Your brain, literally, you had blood on your brain. We're not even out the woods. We haven't even started physical therapy. What are you doing? And I wrestled within myself all night, into the wee hours of the morning.
Wow.
Going back and forth about whether to sip from this bottle or not. And I remember I just kept smelling it, and I'm holding it, and I'm fighting within myself on whether to take this drink or not.
Yeah.
And I remember praying to God, God, I want to heal more than I want to cope. I don't just want to cope anymore. It makes no sense why I would even think to drink in this state. I wasn't okay with that. And I didn't like that it was that hard for me.
Yeah.
That for me was this shit has too much power over me. I don't like that I'm having to fight. I'm not fighting the world. I'm not fighting haters. I'm not fighting anyone but myself. I don't like that.
Yeah, it's too much energy to put into something ridiculous. Yeah.
There are many things in life that I will fight and ride and die for. This is not one of them.
Yeah.
I'm not about to be fighting. If I have to go to this point to stop myself from doing something, this shit got too much power over me. I don't want it.
Yeah.
I want to heal more than I want to cope. I did not take that drink. And from that point on, that's when I started a more conscious and intentional, weaving a more conscious and intentional level of healing into the physical healing process. Because now it's not just about my injuries from the accident or, my physical body healing. Then it's like, now there's a whole nother layer that I'm like, okay, this is bigger than that.
Right. This is a whole other battle.
This is, all right, we on a journey. And also by then I was like 3 or 4 months without drinking. And I'm like, you made it this far. You might as well just keep going.
Yeah.
Like, just see how far you can go. And that was really, honestly, like what it became. It was just like, let me see how far I can go. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but let me see. When's the last time you went 3 or 4 months without drinking?
Right.
All right. Well, I'm here.
See if it's doable.
Let me see how long I can go. And now we almost have 4 years.
Wow.
So I'm just like, all right, well, let me see. Like, that is how I view it.
Yeah.
Let me see how far I can go.
Interesting. That's crazy.
Because some folks have asked me, like, do you think you'll ever drink again? And I'm like, I'm on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I recognize how much it has changed my life, how much it has opened my eyes, how much of a generational pattern breaker it is. And I think where I'm at now is that I'm not willing to fuck around and find out. I don't.
Yeah.
Because
I
enjoyed it. I loved it. Baby, we was getting, you know what I mean? Like, if we're going to do it, we're going out.
Same here.
We gotta,
I wasn't just like sitting at home, like, I'll just take a sip of beer and just sip a beer for a little while. I was like, nope, we're partying. We're going to have a great time.
Like, and my tolerance was high. Like, we was out here.
Yeah.
We was doing the damn thing. And especially because it's such a part of life, of business. It's
in every facet of society. Yeah,
and it's
for sure.
so accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not, to make anybody feel bad or shade or anything. It's just observational. Like, at this point, like, it's just such an accepted form or aspect of life that that kind of is what it is at this point. Although I see shifts happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, the liquor industry is definitely not feeling. I would imagine not feeling.
Yeah.
Those of us who are becoming alcohol free, and now there's mocktails and dry bars, and all of those things that are emerging, which is also interesting to me because at the same time this is happening, I'm seeing a lot more smoke houses popping up, and randomly, I don't know that any of these things are related, but there are so many chicken spots now. It's just been a boom in like fried chicken spots. I don't know that any of
I wasn't sure what you meant at first. Like Korean, for instance, I will notice that
Korean.
For me, that there's Korean barbecue places. 3 of them have popped up recently. But
really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
which is phenomenal.
Like, I mean, just like the round-the-way fried chicken spots.
Yeah.
Like, there's the next level of like, they're everywhere. But that's just a side for y'all.
Yeah,
but
that's a fun conspiracy theory. I like that.
Like, I was telling somebody the other day, it's like, what was it? Smokehouses, fried chicken, and there was one other thing that was just like I'm seeing like
they're just popping up.
and seeing an increase of them.
We'll be right back. You know that one beanie you reach for every cold morning? The one that somehow feels like a hug and a caffeine boost to your confidence at the same time? Well, yeah, mine's from the Rethreadery. Beth started this Philly shop with nothing but a sewing machine and a belief that fashion could be creative, sustainable, and full of second chances. Everything they sell, from recycled apparel to handmade home goods, has a story stitched into it. So, if you're looking for something that's cozy, conscious, and made with a ton of heart, check out the Rethreadery. Progress, not perfection. One recycled treasure at a time. Check it out at www.rethreadery.com.
Hi, are you looking for a nature getaway? A calm place to land as you begin a new chapter? I have just the place. There's a hidden gem in South Jersey, a spring-fed lake surrounded by a quiet pine forest. It's a nourishing retreat we call Haven, where guests can rest, play, and rediscover themselves. There are trails to wander, quiet spots to read or swim, and space to breathe just a little deeper. Come see what makes Haven so special. You'll find all the details in the show notes.
Hey, it's Dan. Quick question. Do you like stories that crawl under your skin and pull you in and then still hit you with a grin you didn't see coming? Then welcome to the library of Daniel Bradley, my haunted little archive of original horror comedy tales. Every month I drop brand new stories. Eerie, emotional, weird, occasionally unhinged. Well, usually always unhinged. All written by me and ready for you to read on Patreon. Think VHS nightmares, neon-soaked diners, and a hallucinating Easter bunny who probably should have called out of work. If you want in, head to patreon.com/Daniels666time and grab a seat. Just don't touch anything on the shelves. Some of those stories, well, they bite back. Welcome back.
But yeah, there's been this for me this awareness that it was something I loved. It was something I enjoyed. Some aspect of me wants to say I was good at it, you know, but no, that's not something I want to claim. Wasn't, because I remember the not so great moments.
Yeah.
Wasn't that good, girl? Bye, sit down. But yeah, I just, when I think about like what would the circumstances have to be for me to drink again, to enjoy a drink again,
To be able to let yourself enjoy a drink again.
yeah. And the only thing that I can envision, and that I think I do want to see happen, or I pray would happen, is when I have reached old age,
Mm-hmm.
and I am on my deathbed. I'm going out with a shot.
Yeah.
You know, I want my folk, whoever does drink at that point, pour it up.
What was your shot of choice back in the day? What did you drink?
What's a brown girl? Brown, get down. But I think anybody would tell you Southern Comfort 100 proof.
Damn.
I was a SoCo 100
SoCo.
proof girl.
Yeah.
Shout out to North. North Philly. Past the Henny. Past the Henny.
That was my shot of choice.
Hennessy?
No, not at all.
Oh. I was very much, I'm drinking straight.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big...
I drank Jameson whiskey.
Jameson was...
Loved Jameson.
I got a Jameson hoodie that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
I got it at an event, Yakitori Boy. I think it was like their 10-year anniversary. And it's the most comfiest hoodie ever. And I wear it now. I still wear it because it's amazing.
That's a good hoodie. A good hoodie's a good hoodie.
But I don't drink.
Yeah.
So it's just hilarious to me at this point. But yeah, definitely a brown girl. There really wasn't too much like dark liquor that I didn't enjoy.
Same.
Douce and all that kind of stuff. You know, the trending liquors and stuff.
Mhm.
And feel free to bleep all that out because they're not paying you nothing.
No, they're not
They're
paying
not
me anything.
sponsoring anything.
Yeah.
So you cut that whole part out. They don't get no free advertisement.
It's all trash.
You know what I mean? They need top dollars too.
They're really, yeah. Well, how awesome would that be if like Braving the Bright Side is brought to you by Jameson and Hennessy and like Southern Comfort.
Brave the bright side with dark liquor.
Yeah. Anyway, this is how I beat drinking. We're going to take a quick break. Take a shot of Jameson for your family. Like,
What?
yeah, people are like, oh my God, he sold out
what?
insanely quickly.
Like, wow.
That's good shit. Sometimes the hardest parts of our own story become the most impactful. What chapter of your life surprised you by becoming a source of strength instead of shame?
Teen pregnancy.
Okay.
I was a PK. I was a preacher's kid.
Mhm.
My mom was a minister, and when I got pregnant, and you know, I very much was a church girl. Like I used to mime, I used to praise dance. I was in all the things at church.
Yeah. All things church related.
Like, yeah, we spent a lot of time at church, and I was like okay with that.
Mhm.
That was, you know, those were my folks. Yeah. teen, the teen ministry and like all that kind of stuff, very much involved. But when I got pregnant, it got really ugly. To the point where like adults were coming up to me and saying really hurtful things.
Wow.
And like my mom said at one point she was ready to fight somebody in church over, well, some things they had said to me.
Yeah.
Just being a mama bear, like, yeah. So I think, or I know there was a lot of depression, a lot of shame that I experienced. And especially that was a moment for me where like I was heartbroken by the church in that way. Like it impacted my relationship with God, like my sense of self.
I'm sure. Yeah.
It just,
especially if these statements are coming up, hitting you inside of a church.
Yeah.
They're coming up to you and saying these things.
It was like church did not feel like a safe space.
Yeah.
And that, as someone who like I had such a, like, regardless of someone's choices, whether you agree with them or not, you do not know how God is using that and how God will work things for their good, but also like their relationship with God. And I very much like I said, I was a God's girl. Like I was a kid who used to sit in the bathtub by candlelight and read my Bible.
Wow.
Just because that's just what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's what my heart
you enjoyed
led to do.
Right.
Yeah. I felt like I gained, like there was so much wisdom that was in the Bible that could be gleaned from the Bible. And so I would read it. And so when that time in my life came and it got as ugly as it got, it was really hard for me to accept that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was always an ambitious girl. I was always, a go-getter. My mom was entrepreneurial. My grandma, like I come from entrepreneurial women. I come from women who serve their community and those kinds of things. And so even as I went to pursue college, I had that encounter with the church, and then I get to college, and mind you, beating odds by doing that as a teen parent.
Yeah.
And doing that as by that point, single teen parent in a city with no immediate family. And during my first year, after that, I made the dean's list. But while
That's incredible. Wow.
Listen, we was going to get it.
Yeah.
Okay. But I end up having to go on welfare. And I'll never forget, I was not trying to do that.
Yeah.
And I remember one night it got ugly. I was sitting on the floor. I'll forget this. All dark in the house, and I'm in this, I want to say kitchen, but it wasn't. It's like there was just a piece on the wall where all of the appliances were lined up. You had the refrigerator, the counter, and the stove, and that was your kitchen.
Yeah.
That was it. So I had the kitchen door open, and so that's the only light that's filling this efficiency, the whole efficiency basically, because it was so small. And I'm sitting on the floor in front of it. It's empty, and I'm crying my eyes out, like, because I can't afford food.
Yeah.
I got no money. I couldn't afford it. At that point, to get on the bus, I was walking places, and I remember my mom didn't know that things had gotten that bad. My hair was falling out, and like she had commented on different stuff when I would go down to visit, and just like, "Are you okay? Like, you looking stressed? And
Yeah.
you losing weight and da 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 da." And I'm like, not telling her, how bad it's gotten.
Right.
I'm like, I'm at school, I'm getting things done. Like, that's all she needs to know. But that night, I just couldn't do it anymore. And so I ended up calling her and broke down crying and like ended up revealing everything I had been going through. And she was like, "Girl, like, go, you need help. It's okay to
Yeah.
go apply. Like, this is not your forever. Like, that's what it's there for, to help you in these moments. You're pursuing your degree. Like, you're moving with intention. You have a goal and a vision for your life. You have hit a hard time. It's okay to go and ask, or to go seek help to get
Right.
that kind of support. And pride was big, because I felt like I got myself into this situation. I'm the one that chose to become a teen parent.
Right.
I'm the one that made the decisions.
This is all on me.
This is on me.
Yeah.
Right. And she's like, yes, and you can make another choice. Like, it's not, I'll never forget, she said, it's not about you. You have a child.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
This is, like, kick that damn pride to the curb. You have a child, and there is a means to help you right now provide for your child. It's more irresponsible of you to not do what you need to do. And so that was when I went and applied for food stamps and Medicaid and all of that. And I remember even get into the building, and I wouldn't get out my car. And I called her again, and I'm crying.
Because you just did not want to do it?
I did not want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't.
Was there a party that felt like you were accepting defeat
Yeah.
by doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was like I'm going to college.
Yeah.
I'm going to school full time. Like, I'm doing everything that I can. And I'm like I'm doing a work study. Well, at that point I was trying to get a work study job. I was going through that process. Like, I'm exercising like as much as I can, like with what's within my power to make this happen on my own. And it's just not enough. And that, for me, I think was more frustrating than anything, that I was giving everything I had and it was not yielding the results that I needed. And she was just like, she said it again. This is not about you. It's not about you. It's bigger than you.
Yeah.
This is bigger than you. And so I got out the car and I applied and I got on. I started receiving my benefits and stuff, and that it helped. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm forever grateful for that. And for how it allowed me to provide for, my little family during a time where I really was striving to ensure that we had a better future.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it was interesting because even throughout that process, you got to go in for renewals and you got to meet with your caseworker and stuff. And these mofos going to tell me that in order to keep receiving my benefits at that point, that I would have to drop out of college to keep my benefit.
Really? Because you were pursuing an education, they thought.
Yeah. And so you certain hours, you had to have certain hour requirements and things like that. And I was like, I just remember staring across the desk at this woman, and I'm like, I said, do you understand what you're telling me right now? Like, you want me to drop out of a 4-year university where I am pursuing my degree so that I can be a productive citizen of society and provide for my family on my own. Wow. You want me to give that up so that I can keep my benefit. Like, make it make sense for me.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Help me. Like, this, I would only need the benefits for a short time. Tax dollars only being used for a short time. Money that I put into the system only being used for a short time, so that I have long-term stability that I can sustain on my own. You want me to
essentially chop your legs out from underneath
this
you.
math does not math. And then I think for me, that was the moment where I was like, this system it's designed to keep you on it. This is trying to get off this system, to get out of this system. There are so many mechanisms in place with the way that it's currently structured that not only keeps the family fragmented, but also keeps the beneficiary in this state of dependence on it.
Yeah.
Like the leap between being on assistance to being able to sustain yourself, that gap is so far that like fear alone of not being able to clear it.
Right.
Right. And being able to like, okay, I'm able to get off the system and now I can provide fully for my family. The cost of living is within, a reasonable means. That shit is so wide that you're like, I'm not about to take that risk.
Yeah.
Like
right. You can't afford to take that risk.
Literally can't afford to take that risk.
Yeah.
And I remember many times feeling frustrated with that. Like, this doesn't make sense. And like, yeah, how am I going to get off of this? When am I ever really going to be able to clear it enough that we don't end up worse, in a worse position,
right? More in the hole, depending on
how you're looking at it. Yeah. So yeah, I would say, I think going maybe back to your question about what I feel most proud of, it is definitely teen pregnancy.
Yeah.
Being a teen parent, because I remember, that moment where I made the choice that I was keeping my child and that I was going to embark on that journey. And I did not know what all that was going to entail.
Yeah.
But I knew that I was living for the moment where she was my age. And I was having a conversation with her about that journey. Like that, I even when I raised her, I was raising her with that version of her in my mind.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I think she's 20 now.
Oh.
Right? Like,
yeah.
She's 20 and my youngest is about to be 17. That for me is, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the journey. Like, that is.
You did it.
That's so, they're my pride and joy.
That's incredible. What an incredible story. I mean, that's truly badass. I mean, you made it happen.
It takes a village. It takes a village. For me, is some alcohol dependency at some point. But,
self-medication here and there.
A whole lot of faith.
Yeah.
A whole lot of determination. A whole lot of ambition.
So, speaking of that, like, when you're sitting in your kitchen floor and you're like, what am I going to do? For someone who's listening now who feels like they're kind of in the messy middle of their life or whatever they're going through, what's something you wish someone had told you during that? That season, if you will. But I guess your mom kind of did, but.
Yeah, she told me at that point there were other, there were mentors and friends and folks along the way who they all poured into me in their own ways. I think that what my mom said, though, for me at that particular point was a game changer.
Yeah.
That it was bigger than me. Because it forced me it challenged me to think about how I was the choice that I had to make. I didn't have to do anything. The choice that lay before me and how I wanted to navigate my experience. And that choice would go on to shape my entire college experience and even the way that I carried myself in life after that. Because when she said that hole is bigger than me, yes, at that time she was talking about my daughter. But then that carried into when Temple, I got a notice from Temple that they were ending family housing. And I think they gave us like a week notice.
Jeez.
And I'm like, I know you fucking lying.
Yeah.
I know you fucking lying. What do you mean? Like, where are we going? Like, by that time I had two daughters, I had both of my daughters. And I'm like, no, this is all I have. Like, this is my housing. This is how I am going to school. Like, I live on campus. I don't have family here. What do you mean you're in? And what? Like, no. No.
That's insane.
No.
So what did you do? Like, what did you do?
I fought back. So
Yeah.
that's when, I started an online petition. By that point, what I had observed was that there were other family student parents. There were other student parents because they put family housing in graduate housing. So, when I would go wash clothes or something like that, I was always, even on campus, looking for, is there anyone else out here like me?
Right.
I would chase people down on campus that I saw. And mind you, Temple's in the heart of North Philly. So anybody could be walking on campus. But if I saw somebody with a stroller, I'm like, ooh, hey, are you a student here? Because I'm just like trying to connect. I felt very alone in my experience. And so I'm just trying to find other student parents. And so in graduate housing, I would keep an eye out for, are there any other kids around? And so I had observed that all right, there's at least 2 other student parents or 2 other families in this complex.
Yeah.
And so when I got that notice, I'm like, it wasn't even just an I thing, it's a we thing.
Right.
Like, what are we going
back
to
that
do?
Community you're
that
talking
community, about. Right. And so I started the online petition and, told folks what was going on. Folks started circulating that, and we're pushing it, and I think it maybe was up for a week or so, and it had garnered almost 1,000 signatures. And Michael Scales, shout out to Michael, he was the director of housing, if I'm not mistaken, at that time. I remember he called me from Chicago, and I remember answering, and he was like, "Hi, is this Syreeta?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, "This is Michael Scales, the VP of housing," and da-da-da-da. And I was like, "Hi." He was like, my heart's just beating. And he's like, "So we, so you got a petition going?" I was like, "Yeah." So in my head, I'm just playing back episodes of Law and Order SVU, or just Law and Order in general. And I'm like, you got to have a list of demands.
You got
to, what's my demand?
You've reached the final boss now. You got to be ready to go.
It's time. It's go time. Let's go. Let's go time. And he's basically what we got to get you to take this petition down. And so I'm like, keep housing.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward here. And so we had a really great conversation, and he had shared Ann Weaver Hart, who was the president of the school at that time, I guess had reached out to him and was like, "Hey, handle this." What's going on? And so that's what led to him calling me, at least as I understood it. And so when he got back, we ended up meeting, and they did keep family housing. So thankfully, they come to find out, apparently that was sent out in error.
Oh.
It was sent out definitely at minimum prematurely.
Yeah.
At most, no, flip that around. At minimum in error, at most prematurely.
Yeah.
But family housing was not going anywhere. And he suggested that, he said, "Listen, if you really want to exercise your power as a student, you need to start a student organization. There's funding that you would be able to access. There's space that you would be able to access. You would be able to leverage your voice more."
Yeah.
And so I will forever be grateful for how he empowered me as an advocate, to become an advocate in that way. And so I remember we call each other boss besties. Hania Sharp Brown. She had written an article in the Temple News about being a student parent. And I just so happened to see it. And I reached out to her. And I was like, "Hi, Miss Sharp. I read your article." And, the person that had been chasing down random strangers with strollers on campus has found someone who wrote an article, the journalism major, who wrote an article about her experience as a student parent. It was striking gold.
Yeah, the stars aligned.
They're now people don't have to look at me like I'm crazy because I'm is that your stroller? Is that your baby? Are you a student? Like, and so I reached out to her and I like told her what was going on and that I would love to meet and chat. And we did. And it was like gasoline and fire when we got connected, and we set that shit ablaze.
Wow.
It was like we launched the Temple Non-Traditional Student Union. We put on Temple's first non-traditional student week, which we had observed, just through research. It was happening at other colleges in the nation, but it had never been done at Temple. And we like, fuck it,
Oh, shit.
we're doing it. And non-traditional students were adult learners, veterans, student parents. So it wasn't even just
Student parents.
us.
It was just
like it was like, no, we and Temple started as a night school.
Yeah.
So it started for adult learners. And so our big thing was like, don't forget your mission.
Right.
Thinking about that mirror moment and don't forget that version of yourself. Like, don't forget your mission. Don't forget who started this
Where
shit.
you started,
Why you started this.
Yeah.
It was actually for people like us. So like, act like it. And so that for us, like, I remember we met with someone who, they were staff, and we were seeking, just some guidance around, building this organization. And at that point, I think we were very early on, and we had a different name, I think. Yeah, we had a different name for it. I don't remember what it was at this point, but she looked at us sitting across the desk again, and she said, she listened to the mission and all that, and she said, y'all, people gonna look at y'all and y'all sound like some baby mamas. And we was like, it was one of those moments where that would either completely destroy someone who was already in a vulnerable state and like already dealing with, maybe a sense of shame or overwhelm at their circumstances.
Yeah.
That is something that could have completely destroyed a person. For us, it was
Was it ammo?
fire. It was ammo. It was ammo. There's this this lyric I think Jay-Z says where he's like, he's on a list. Like, oh, okay, that's where you at. All right, you drew your line.
Yeah.
We're not like, cool, bet, watch this. And so we did, sometimes you take what you need, you leave the rest. We did take into account the perspective that she shared. And we were like, all right, what does that mean for what we need this name to do?
Right.
The name of the organization to do. It needs to speak community. It needs to, be bigger than us. And so that's how we went with Temple Non-Traditional Student Union. But, did a lot of great things on campus with that. We ended up in Harrisburg testifying for congressional briefing on behalf of student parents and specifically student mothers who are TANF recipients, welfare and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, that, taking it back to my mom and her saying it's bigger than me, that showed up in that way.
Yeah.
Right. That mentality that this is bigger than me. It's not just about what my experience is or how I'm struggling or, what I'm dealing with. It's that there's different versions of this in this time and space. And how do I want to use it? What do I want this to go towards? And so for me and Hania, that was what it looked like. It looked like Temple Non-Traditional Student Union. And fast forward, I think it was earlier this year or last year, she actually was like a commencement speaker for Temple's like general studies. Temple, forgive me. Shout out to y'all. But it's basically for the non-traditional students.
Right, right.
Because since then, there's been more intentional work around that particular demographic of students, which it's like, damn, for us, that's a full circle.
That's crazy. I mean, that's
full circle.
Wild.
And I graduated in 2012, and you think it's 25 now.
Yeah.
So just even looking at how long it took for the student demographic that we were we were advocating for back then to start to receive the prioritization and intentional serving that they now have is like, it's great. It's bittersweet in some ways, because I think, just having done my research with student parents, 52% of us don't graduate.
Don't graduate, yeah.
We drop out. And it's not because, like, we actually score well. We do well academically.
They don't feel like they're just supported?
They're just not supported.
Yeah.
Right? Like, life be lifing.
Yeah.
Right? And choices got to get made. And so great students excel well, but if that support is not in place, they're not able to finish. And I think it wasn't until I started doing that research more recently that I started to really like understand how much my story is a unicornish.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, there are many others, other student parents who have achieved out there. I never sat with it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
reality
your story against a 52% stat, that is,
it's wow.
Yeah, it's hard to hear for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I think my mom telling me, this is bigger than you. That has always been a part of like how I approach.
I love that moment of hardship in that moment and what your mother said to you, and then seeing the path that you went down and the shit that you've accomplished.
Even with the blog, like that was again kind of rooted in that too. This is bigger than me, so let me
it's pretty incredible.
Offer what I can so that maybe you get a renewed sense of strength, direction, and purpose. It's bigger than me. Like it's not just about me. So if I share my truth, you can dig through the dirt of it and find a seed that you can, hold on to or nurture in your own life.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of storytelling.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to pause right there. And believe me when I say there is so much more on the way. Syreeta's story, her wisdom, her fire, it doesn't fit into one episode. Not even close. Her narrative is still unfolding, both in her conversation and in her life. And I cannot wait for you to hear the next chapter of it. Part 2 is coming next week. And if this first half hit you in the heart, the next one is going to stay with you long after you finish listening. A very special thank you to Syreeta Martin for showing up with such honesty, humor, depth, and courage. It's an honor to hold space for stories like hers, and I'm grateful she trusted us with it. Stick around. The bright side will continue in this story. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with this. It takes real bravery to sit with your truth, especially when it's heavy. To keep walking even when the path asks more of you than you really plan to give. To stay open, compassionate, and even grateful, even when life hasn't gone the way you really thought it would. Syreeta reminded us today that healing isn't linear, and empowerment doesn't always feel like strength in that moment. Sometimes it feels like unraveling. Sometimes it feels like starting over. But that, too, is a part of becoming. Her story is a testament to resilience, to community, and to the radical courage it takes to evolve in real time. Not perfectly, mind you, but honestly. And with Thanksgiving around the corner, I hope you carry a little of that with you. Sometimes we walk into these rooms of our families and friends and people we haven't seen in a while, and there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of feelings going on. So I hope as you walk into these rooms, as you go into your Thanksgiving break, whatever you're doing, I hope you find a moment to breathe, a moment to honor how far you've come, a moment to recognize the people and the inner voice that help you keep going. And as always, if something in today's conversation stirred something in you, if you've got a story in your heart that's been waiting to be heard, I'd love to hear from you. Email me anytime at bravingthebrightside@gmail.com or find me on Instagram at braving_thebrightside. And if you're not ready to tell it yourself, that's okay. Send it anyway. With your permission, I'll tell it for you. Thank you for spending a little time on the bright side with me today. Until next time, keep braving it. One step, one sunrise, one honest conversation, and one moment of gratitude at a time. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I'll see you next week.